All right, what's up, guys? Brandon, Lee. We guys seen the preview video on the way up here. We shot some. You guys have already seen that, I'm sure. We're up at Matt Matoy's house, shooting bows, eating hot dogs, and getting ready for bow season, talking public land deer. So we got done shooting. We're gonna sit down here and ask him some questions.
Yep, we're in Matt's house, and we're checking out some of his mounts, and he's got a book buck that's come out of North Georgia. We're gonna be asking him some questions about it, and just see what we can find out.
That's it. So without further ado, let's put him in the camera. Matthew Matoy, there he is, man. Ladies and gentlemen.
Lay it on me.
Look at him, man. Look, man. He
gamer tag.
Yeah, he wants the gamer tag in there. So, tell him what it is.
Active player here.
Matoy X17. Holla at your boy.
Look me up.
All right, man. So tell us about it. Just give us show him to us,
Give
and
you
tell
a
us about it.
rundown. Wish I had my other thing. I think he gross scored 119, 5'8", something around in there. I got the paperwork out there in the shop. Should have grabbed it to be more exact. He went into the books at 117, 2/8. I got it framed right here, so I know. I said bow kill for all the people that saw it. Yeah, it was killer crossbow. I post my crossbow all the time, so if you didn't know I have a crossbow, check out my channel. You know, it's on there.
What's your channel? Tell
Matthew Matoy, it's just my name.
We'll put a link here.
Yeah, just check it out.
Do this thing.
Link in the bottom.
Do this.
Yeah,
link in the bottom.
down at the bottom.
There you go.
And so it'll have a B there. It don't matter to me. But 117 and 2/8 would be the biggest bow kill recorded on Pigeon Mountain. So that's it. It holds number 3 in the county, bow kill. So other than that, found this deer, found this spot turkey hunting. We was turkey hunting up there, and if anybody's familiar with what I call a year-round scrape or a community scrape that lasts forever. In this particular spot, went over and checked it out. They were still using it well in turkey season. We're going to put a camera on. There was quite a bit of deer there too, actually, in that area. We believe using it because they was right there where it was at. Fast forward, start running cameras in the area, and notice there's some good buck bedding up in there. Not far, probably 60 yards, because this is going to play into the kill. Probably 60 yards from where this particular spot is, where we're finding the what I'm calling a year-round scrape. Ran cameras. He was showing up good in July. The best buck I've ever had on camera. I have no nighttime pictures of him. I have 0. I'm actually going to send Brandon, so he can post on here, a picture when I first saw him. That way y'all guys can first see him as well. I got a picture whenever you see him growing. Pretty neat. We didn't know how big he was going to be, but we was like, oohing and on. But anyway, run the cameras, find him in July.
How far from the road you find him? How far from park?
He's 2.3 miles to be exact. 2.3 miles. Uphill.
Rough. Yeah, this is rough.
Uphill.
Yeah.
Not dragging him out a mile, and I could not have. Especially even where he died, I couldn't get him up. So see him growing again. He shows up daytime. Always showed up in the evening. I say daytime, evening. Never night though. Probably he was a 6:30er to 7:15 buck. And like I was telling you, he never showed up at night. And we knew he was close to the bed, and we knew where they was bedding at.
So you located the primary bed, like dirt beds with hair in them?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Look for the
Hold
sign.
on. Where are their balloons?
Yes, I have the balloon. I should have grabbed it. I have the balloon out here where his stuff is, his other stuff is framed. I do have the balloon out of his bed, so he slept with that balloon. And it's a Elsa balloon, believe that or not. It is Elsa, off Frozen. If I'm saying her name right. Am I saying it right? Elsa, yeah. And I have the balloon in my shop. The one he used to hold when he would sleep.
Yeah, come up with it?
Yeah.
I'll insert a picture of that here.
Did he have rubs in his bed?
He did. Many of them all around that area. And it was just it's a bin. I want to say mountain ridge. I guess you could classify it. I don't know how high ridges are. This is super high. This is probably 40 to 50 stories high.
Yeah. Was it an observation bed where he was?
No, I think it was more just primary because there was nobody getting to him, and he was there the whole time. He never showed.
I mean, what could he see from his bed?
Honestly, he could just see the other side of the ridge, and if I would have came from my side, I'm assuming he never had nobody come in the way I was, because it's harder to come in my side. I could have easily attacked him a mile in versus 2.3 miles from the other side. I could have easily, but he would have saw me. Where he's sitting at in this bend.
So what you're talking about, he's sitting up there and that's strategic.
I was coming in above him
Yeah.
on the way he wouldn't be looking. And of course, hunting him on that off wind.
Yeah, that's a good move.
Yes. So, I go to hunting. Is that good enough?
Tons of daytime pictures?
Yeah, I got tons. Only daytime.
Yeah.
Only daytime, the same time.
Yeah.
Is he would show up.
Like every day? Every other day?
2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
2 to 3 times a week.
Didn't notice you was buggering him up going in.
No, and I wasn't going in there much. I probably went in from July to the 3rd week of September hunting him. I probably went in there 3 times maybe, but never back to the bed. So I was going to go set on this guy on an evening hunt, and I'm headed to the area to hunt him, and got my bow caught because I actually walked up on this deer in July, checking the camera. I actually walked up on him eating in the road bed.
Oh no, he was just feeding. You watched him.
He was feeding in the road bed. There was just a little bit of greenery in the it's like road gravel lot right there, pretty far from where he's at actually. And he was eating there, and I bucked him, and I seen him in July, and he had another buck. We ran around with the 6-pointer, and the 6-pointer ended up making it. It made it to a 3.5-year-old. I know because I got pictures of him, but the 6-pointer, I don't know what happened to him. Somebody had shot him, and he left the area, so the 6-pointer didn't make it to be 4.5. I do know that because I'm very familiar with the area.
Yeah.
And killed it. I probably killed around 7 or 8 bucks in this area, so I'm very familiar with the bucks.
You shot him up from that tree before?
I have not, never hunted that spot.
Yeah.
I only hunted that spot maybe twice. When I killed him, and after, and I was going to go back and kill the 6. Actually, the 6 gave me a better shot when I ended up seeing him. I'll tell you in the story. But I went back to kill the 6 because I did like the 6-pointer too, and he was very wide, not super tall, but I would have shot him, and that never showed up after that. After I killed him. But anyway, to fast forward to the hunt, I was not going to go hunting that evening. I was not.
Is that what, opening week?
Nope. 3 weeks in September. I'm not sure.
First time in?
First time on the evening. I was around in that area early. Just scared to push.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to go all the way in to where the camera was that evening hunt. I've never sat on it on an evening ever. So I was talking my bud, and he's like, just go up there and sit on him. You know he'll show up. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go this evening. We hunted all morning. I didn't see nothing. I hunted in a different spot. And so we were sitting there eating lunch. We came out, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to go up there. And so I'm walking up there, and I keep my bow cocked because I done jumped him once. And my crossbow and my limb, I just heard bing, and like I said, a slither of fiberglass. You could hear it popped off. Right side limb, and I believe the upper right side. It's double limbed on the right side. The upper one popped off. And so I go get in the stand with a broke limb, and
2 miles from the truck.
2.3 mile from the truck. Yes. And sitting up there, and knew in my gut, I want to say in my heart, but in my gut, I knew and not really now or never. I knew he's around, and I went super quiet, and I had an off wind. I had my cattails with me, and I'm dropping.
Was it a weird wind? What wind was it?
No, on that particular spot,
What's the off wind?
I want to say for the wind. I want to say it's like an easterly wind, but this right here is the thing. In this spot on the ridge here, or mountain, I told you it's like close to 50. Make sure that's right in the thing. I know it's super, super high, way up there, and far stories high. Yeah. I don't know how high you get in stories when you get above ridge, but this thing's forever up. And it actually hit me in the back. And I knew the way he would come around to where his bedding was. And my wind would be like hitting me in the back. And if the buck's going to show up here, my off wind, cattails are blowing right down here, and they are falling off in there, off the side of the ridge, right down in there. And it was not likely for him to just walk on the side where there was not no trail to walk. So I knew he was going to work up my area, and the camera showed that he would. And I knew he would. And I knew he was there. I really knew he was there the whole time. So I was really quiet about it. So I'm playing on my phone. I got an off wind, which to me is the best wind to hunt one, because they think they got you. Mm-hmm. So when I say off, it's not off by much. It's literally, if this is in front of me, it's blowing just right here. It's not blowing here. It's blowing like right here.
Outside, parallel to them.
And when the sun going down, of course, it's kind of like somewhere behind me, because I know I'm lit. And I'm sitting there texting on my phone, look up, here comes a buck, and this right here is pretty neat, that there's not even a trail right over on this other little roller. I call a roller, it's a little ridge, wouldn't be high out. A buck came up over it, and it was the 6-pointer, and I knew then he was going to come, but I still don't know where he's at. And I look, and I got my crossbow here, because I put my phone up, because I heard the 6, and I can't hear it at all. And I look, and the 6-pointer's coming, and so right off the bat, I'm like, where's he at, where's he at? And I look down to where the road bed is, and that's when he's coming. And he's got his head down, and I'm not sure that's him yet. I'm not sure it's him. He's a little bit more than 45 yards right now. He's probably close to 50-ish right now when I first spot him. Head down, so I'm like, him. And he brings his head up, look around, check everything, and of course it's him. And yeah, it's you. And anyway, he comes, the 6-pointer comes down off the ridge, and I could have got the 6 at probably 10 yards. I wouldn't say no more than that, definitely not 15. And it works by me, and then here he comes, he wants to come up. And I got busted. So when I go to pull my crossbow up, he stops. And he's kind of like, he's standing in front of a pine tree. It's definitely not in front of him. But he's standing in front of these 2 pine trees, big pine trees. And I'm losing a little light. There's a little bit of canopy up there where I'm at. Not a whole lot, but they are. And it's still September. And at the very end, and he stops, looks straight up at me, and then I pulled up and shot. He's 42 yards, and I slung one at him. And I'm saying slung one for the very reason that I thought I hit him in the heart. I'll be honest with you, I thought that's right where I was aiming, and I was set up to shoot far. I've been practicing that far. I didn't think I was going to have to shoot that far, but I did. With a broke limb, top right.
Now look, this is important because I think you might get some hate on this, but like, we might not see a deer up here more than once. This ain't the Midwest where you got deer that walk by the same place every single day. You can bump them. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You might only see this deer in the mountains out there one time in the daylight. If you bump him, that might be it.
Oh, 100%.
You know, this ain't. It's a different ballgame. Like, if you got a chance to kill him, you better kill him.
Yeah.
So it's a calculated risk.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
If I could have easily, I went back after the 6, he was never there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a smaller deer than the 8, so yeah. So yeah, they moved on me. Yeah. And later on the next year, I got pictures of him. So yeah, he moved.
Yeah.
And he could have moved. if I wouldn't have took the shot.
So where'd you hit him at? We got about a minute and 50 seconds left on this one. We got another car.
Went to shoot, and I thought I shot him in the heart. Of course, I don't know yet. He runs back to where he come from, which is most likely on a deer, go to the safe spot. And he took off running out of my sight. I heard a lot of crashing, and when I found him, I dead centered him right in his throat. And if you look right here, there's still a little bit of bone that I left on the arrow. Still a little bone. This is the very one, and it did break. When he was running, he broke it off in his throat. It dead centered his throat. He may have ran 30 yards from where I shot him.
Quarter and two. How far did you miss?
He was 100% broad. But the thing was, when he was turned towards me and I shot, he went to try to beat me. And when he did, when he came back, where I would have aimed at his heart, when he jumped back, it got him in the throat. That's where it caught him at. He actually caught it himself, because if he would have went any more, it would have missed him. But when he jumped back, right in the throat. And he ran off the steepest, nastiest stuff.
Dead, right there?
Yeah, 30 yards. As
Dead,
far as he went, dead. And I gave him 45. I didn't hear no more kicking after the crash.
Cool.
And straight in the throat. And did not go all the way through. By the way, if you shoot a deer here, I'm shooting a crossbow, it goes 330. If you're shooting a bow, it goes that fast. You're doing good. That's 426 grains. Yeah. So if you're shooting a compound bow, it goes 320, and you're shooting 350 or 300 grains, you're not going to it either, because you're not hitting harder than I am.
Had you overestimated his inches by camera?
He never seemed to.
No, did you think he was 130, 140?
Oh, than what he was. I thought he was lighter, and he wasn't. I don't know exactly.
What do you weigh?
I don't know, because no checkout or nothing. This is
you quartered him? Did you quarter him?
No, I called my couple buds to come drag him. Yeah. And then we brought him here and caged him.
Those are some good buds on that WMA.
Yeah, I would have never got him out on my own.
I hate to know what that cost you.
Yeah.
They're going to get it out of you eventually.
Yes. Yes, they definitely drug it out. Yeah. I would have never. I couldn't have got him up to where he ran from.
Yeah.
And my truck went the other way, of course.
Yeah, so, all right, so basically I just switched this thing, so it's recording to my tablet now, so we're good with the card.
Yep.
So, all right, so that's not the only decent public land deer you killed.
Oh, no.
Right? There's one, this is a public land deer?
Yeah, that's opening day 2017. That's a pretty funny story. My boy had a football game, and I missed it, which I'm not going to miss it now because now he's in tackle. But I was missing his football games. And my wife was hunting above me.
There's Casey. She's over there. She's hiding.
Yeah. And she had to leave to go to the game around, she's holding it up, at 10 o'clock. So she had to leave the mountains. And I told her, she's messaging me, and I said, okay, she's leaving to go to the game. So she left the mountain and had to go back up. And when she did, I guess she was just super loud, and she even admits she was.
I got mad through my chair.
Yeah, because it's just so steep on the side of this part of the mountain. And she would have been, let's say, one ledge down. I would have been 3 past that. And no trails. All I had was just like a road bed in front of me. And no trails at all. And then he just popped up behind me at 11:20. So she left at 10. It literally took him that long. I guess he was still on his feet. I'm assuming he got bumped because the way he was walking was head up, and he never stopped, and it was a very fast walk, and he came right in behind me. Nice. And that hunt is on my channel as well. That's actually my first video.
Link?
If you want to check it out. Yeah.
Where? Right here?
Yeah, like
Link
right, boom.
Is that a pigeon deer?
That is pigeon. 2017 opening day. And shot him straight to the heart.
Dude, I'll beep out the WMA for you guys.
Yeah.
I'll beep it out.
Yeah, well, they also know that it shows
the WMA. Remember when we were talking that one day when we said Barry?
We do not say on there, though. Yeah, I saw where y'all said that. But we don't say it on the video where it was shot, but a lot of people know. Yeah. But anyway, heart shot. No, double lung. Mm-hmm. Almost 100 yards.
So, when you...
What?
Yeah.
With the crossbow?
Yeah.
You've been practicing that?
Was I practicing double lung?
No, 100 yards.
That's how far he went?
Oh, I thought you said that
You shot him
him
at
at 100
No, I shot him at 10, 10 yards.
He ran 100.
Yeah, ran 100, double on.
Yeah.
A huge hole.
So when you hunt these, when you're on these WMAs, are you like why were you there? If there wasn't a trail, you were something the roadbed hoping the deer come down.
I was familiar with the area because it had a lot of deer, and I used to gun hunt it down there, so I knew it held good deer, and I ran camera there years past.
Yeah.
So I knew.
So, but there's not a trail. They're just kind of freestyle
No,
through
the reason
area?
why I was sitting there is banking on one was going to come down that roadbed. There was no trail behind me where he came down. He came down walking over logs, fall down to get to that spot. He should have not been there.
Yeah.
There's nothing for a deer to be there, and it was super steep, and he was very loud because he was falling coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was scared. He was scared.
There with me all morning. I saw him.
Yeah. Casey saw him that morning.
Oh, Casey. Hold on. Casey wants to talk now. Casey says she wants to talk. So tell us about why didn't you get a shot at? What happened? Just out of range?
Dark.
It was dark. It was too dark.
You seen
I was sitting in a chair.
how many deer you seen that morning?
8
Yeah.
deer. They're coming out of the field. I won't tell where because Matt likes to tell. I don't. But that is the story of where I saved Matt and his brother from dying of thirst.
Oh, I remember that.
97 degrees.
I remember
97
that.
degrees, and we had a 4-hour drag. 97-degree weather back up the mountain. And yeah, that was no.
Dude, I remember that, dude.
No.
You guys were in a bind back there.
Bad. I dropped a pin. She came to us for Gatorades. It was bad.
I was sitting
It
in
was
the
hot.
bar.
Yeah. What was that? What'd you say? Opening day?
Opening day 2017.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot in Georgia. on
97.
opening day.
It was 97.
97 degrees.
I've been in a tree one time. It was triple digits, but that was like opening week.
I had to wrap his antlers in a hoodie.
Hoodie to not mess them up while we was dragging him out. Took up my hoodie off. It was cool that morning. Believe it or not, on opening day, it was back in 17.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody remembers
it is
that.
from time to time.
But I had my hoodie over him and drug him out. I tied a hoodie and a knot over him to not mess up no velvet.
Nice.
And if anybody knows anything, they're definitely thin-skinned when they're that
Is
early.
that velvet white like that when you shot
It was, and I even talked to Ken Darvell, where I went to taxidermy school at, and asked him if he ever seen white like that. This guy's been doing it 30 years plus out of Pensacola, Florida, and he said no, he's never seen that, and he asked me about that. White, and it was white. If you see that, and that's good that you seen that, because you're the only other person that ever mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean,
He
my,
did, and
my
I
buddy's
did,
got a
and
real
you
nice velvet deer, and this looks.
Yeah,
this
he has
is
2
all
white
that.
lines.
I just thought it was some kind of fungus growing on it
Nope.
in here in your house.
He definitely got white lines, so
That's
that was
cool.
odd about him. That was odd about him. But yeah, he was where he.
Well, his brow tines look really white, and then a little bit of white
Yeah.
going up his main beam.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude, so you've also confirmed the balloon theory a couple other times, right?
Yeah, it's not all the time
Dude,
on the
does
balloons.
it. Matt makes a lot of posts about balloons. If he finds a balloon, there's a post on Facebook about it.
Yeah,
What's that
I
thing?
mostly
Do you
I do
subscribe? or
post
is it-
about every one of them, but not all balloons are.
Of course. But do you, I mean, is it a percentage? Does it work? If you find a balloon, do you look for a bed?
Where I'm at, yes, because I'm far enough out when I am starting to look. If not, I'm usually on the beaten trail or just going bushwhacking through the
Yeah.
woods. And so when I do find one, I do start investigating. Not all the time, but I would be safe to say more than less.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. That's
More
cool.
than less. He had a balloon on him. I've never seen a balloon over here where I've never seen one on any of that spot where
No.
he's been killed. And I've been, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles in every direction. And I've never seen a balloon where the velvet buck was shot.
Yeah.
Ever.
And what about oh man, there's another good question I had in my head.
We
You
found a
roll
plane
with it.
crash.
Oh, the plane crash on Barry. Or
Yeah. Who knows about it?
no? Everybody knows about it.
Oh, okay.
I almost shot a black coyote there one time.
Yeah.
I used to be on the hunting club right there on the mountain, on Glover's Hunting Club,
I'm familiar with it.
250 acres.
Yep. I'm very familiar with
And
it.
it's just off that crash site's just off the end of that hunting
Yeah.
club.
I hunt that
Used to
crash
be a big,
site.
used to be a big sage opening on the
Yes.
top of the mountain there.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, you had a good one run under you up there on the gun hunt. We were
Yes.
texting that morning.
Yes.
I remember
you
that.
hunted that opening
Yes.
where the crash was.
Yes, all that. Multiple times. Had good ones on camera there on Barry. Never.
Hush, man. There ain't no big deal on Barry. God, man. Quit using the words.
Never could tie the knot there.
Yeah.
In that particular spot on public.
I snuck in there one time and had a solid black coyote come in on me, had a white diamond right here.
Yeah, I've seen one like that on pigeon.
Dude, when you're looking for y'all quit saying the words.
Well, yeah, but that is true. That is true.
I would say
it's gonna be more beats than a Portland.
Yeah.
Well, he can edit it out. He's good. I edit a lot of stuff out myself, and I'm not near as good as
That's
you.
fine, because I told Matt he ruined Pigeon Mountain.
On this particular spot,
there ain't nobody going in there that far.
You ruined it.
On this particular spot on a plane crash, I have, on this particular piece of public, I have seen good deer just never being able to connect the dots.
I remember texting on this. I think it's the same berry hunt. I remember me and Matt were texting all something. I beat that one out too.
Yeah.
Anyways, on this one quota hunt, Matt's texting me and he's telling me where he's at, and he was a solid 1.5, 2 miles from parking. I know where he was at. And he tells me that he shoots one, and the next thing I know, I get a picture of him dragging out this cow horn spike. I mean, dude, it was spot.
Here's my spot collection.
Dude, it was so funny, man. I was like, dude, you are dragging it. Didn't have the cart.
Yeah.
Just had to get to a safety harness maybe or something. You were just dragging it.
If anybody wants to see the spot collection, it's directly
that was
right
me
here.
and you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a video of the spot collection, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you look for bedding in these public land areas, so Lee and I have been tracking a lot of land. I mean, we've been walking a pretty good bit, but we don't find a lot. We found 1, 2.
We haven't found any dirt beds.
That one we found that one day was decent, but we had hair in it that day, but it went away after we went there.
I've had 2 or 3 where I found real nice beds, isolated beds.
Mm-hmm.
And come back and there'd be wore down hair in them. Like last year, I found one on a mountainside bedding above some oaks, and tree to the back, up on a ridge, flat, hair all in the bed. This is probably June to July. Well, I don't go back for 3 months.
Right.
Opening weekend, I'm 3 hours, 2 hours before daylight, I'm in the tree over the top of that bed.
Right.
And daylight comes, the bed's gone. Can't even find the bed in where it was at, like completely gone. So it was like very, maybe food source related that happened to be in.
How I'm going about that is I'm always trying to go up high. I'm trying to cut all the other stuff out to determine it's a buck bed. Once I establish that it's a buck bed, one of the things I'm looking for is just how high it is. I know that's crazy, but I like to get to the high spot. I hardly ever hunt low. If I hunt low, it's on the doe. And then what he's eating up there is I do believe he's eating oats, but I do know where he's headed because they will be food close by. But I've seen on bed as far from the food 2 miles. I have. So am I just looking for a food source in that area? I'm not.
You like elevation. A
Yeah,
good vantage point.
Do you think they're daytime bedding on elevation, 100 degrees?
100%. I think they're daytime bedding.
100 degrees, no matter the temperature, no matter how far it is to water.
Yeah.
They're not drinking surface water, even if it's over 100 degrees.
I believe in certain particular spots that I'm in, they're just daytime bedding in there, and I do believe during the night that they are eating, and they're not getting out of these beds that I'm finding in these certain spots, because I'm only looking in certain spots that they are not getting out till the evening time. Now, I have found them in early season and then them move because just a change of everything. Some move down because it gets thicker whenever it gets winter. You lose a lot of canopy and you lose a lot of thickness because leaves coming off trees. And I will see them push down, and I will hunt a low area then. So don't hold me to what I'm saying when I say high. I'm only doing it in bow season. And I'm only getting that close with a bow is the only reason why I'm trying to get tight to a buck bed. If I got a gun, I'm sitting somewhere I can see far, and I'm hunting a thicket, whether it be high or whether it be low. But during bow season, only high, and I do believe they're standing there all day, and I'm not going to hunt them spots in the morning. You'll never see Matt Matoy went and hunted after this buck in the morning because I'm not doing it because I do believe he's coming in there at night to bed and he ain't going to leave but about 2 hours right before it starts to get dark. And he ain't moving far when he does it. He's taking his time, and I also do believe he's working to a food source. Which on them spots, I mean, I'm around a lot of planted stuff, whether it be private or on public that they're planting.
Where is the nearest water?
The nearest water from this spot would be even. I mean, he would have had a creek. Probably about a mile and a half. He would have had a creek that keeps water in the whole time. Yeah. And he could drink out of it. I've seen a lot of does down in that area. I wouldn't necessarily hunt that. No. For a buck down there.
Lee makes a great. He harps on it. I overlook it a lot, but water source. We found a lot of these WMA roads that you'll just see them. They'll be just kind of down.
I got places that are hill country that I used to be on a farm and hunt, and it was 1,000 acres, and there would be a 2-mile stretch of no water.
Yeah.
Well, when it was logged, and some of the logging road beds where them skidders would go time after time, they would press that clay in so tight that those logging roads would hold water for weeks on end after the rains. And so when the rains come and it didn't rain for 6 weeks, there might still be a little bit of water standing in some of those holes. Well, man, you want to talk about deer tracks. Yeah. Thousands of deer tracks coming in there. They wanted to drink that surface water, obviously, because the tracks wouldn't be there otherwise. The leaf structure that they do get water out of apparently wasn't enough for there to be 10,000 tracks around this water hole.
Right.
You know, it's just one thing. It seems to me like in Georgia, when it creeps up to 100, there seems to be a threshold to me that they've got to get on surface water. You know, it can't just be vegetation, which is where they 90% of the year, 99% of the year, they get it all just about off vegetation. But once it climbs up to 100, you know, I feel like there's got to be a time where at some point during that 24-hour day, he's got to drink surface water.
Yeah, I believe that. And if you look around creeks and streams, that's normally holds the thickest. It's thick around them spots. It really is. Yeah. There's a lot of canopy.
So you're a mile from a creek.
Yeah.
Up on the highest elevation you can find.
That's one thing I try to play by.
So in another theory that we've kind of been talking about is how a deer, or talking about periods, the deer's gonna lay up high in the daytime because he can smell everything.
And all the thermals come up. Vision as well. He is
can see. Most people ain't coming over top on him.
He sees just like you.
Yeah, and he's gonna hear people coming over.
Right on top. Exactly where you would be sitting if you thought someone was in there hunting.
100%.
Yeah.
That is 100%.
And you couldn't climb a tree.
He's what I call bulletproof.
Yeah.
Is what I call it. He's getting there and getting bulletproof. But as far as water, if I can find how's this? Most water that I'm finding is easier to get to. If that's an easier way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's keeping.
But that's why he's going there at night.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why you're catching him on his feet
far away.
2 miles
Correct.
from.
Now I do believe, like Lee's saying, if this water source is far out there, yeah, he'll just get up, walk over, and get water.
Right. If it's remote and he's comfortable, he's safe. Yeah.
100% he will.
But
where I'm at, no, there's no water right there. It's a mile, and it's back towards the parking lot.
But that's not bad. That's not bad for a buck.
No. It's a straight
line.
He can walk that easy. Yeah, a mile's nothing.
Yeah, so he's probably feeding, drinking till right at daylight and going up to bed and laying there all day long, staying out of trouble, keeping out, doesn't expand any energy.
Now, they don't all do that, but most part they do. And if you can find a good one, I say a good buck, a good acting buck. He's always on time. He hits his marks when he's supposed to, and he acts right. Dead buck. Well, you'll see him. I don't know what killed him. Yeah. If your bow breaks, it can be hard.
Yeah, getting within in the game with a bow up here is.
You need to be tight.
Success. Yeah.
You need to be tight. And around here in these mountains, you got to hunt thermal and wind.
Yeah, exactly.
You got two things going against you. Flat land, you're gonna be a little easier. Not knocking nobody on flat land.
We're not shooting 40 yards. In most places that we're in, if you can shoot 40 yards, I mean, maybe in those big open hardwoods, but 40 yards is about it versus being out in the Midwest where they can launch them 50, 60, 70 yards.
For me to shoot that far ain't common. Yeah. I can normally get them in a lot tighter if I don't get busted.
Yeah.
If I don't.
Hey, what's my saying? Shoot or shoot.
If it ain't flying, it's dying.
Ain't nothing flying, ain't nothing dying.
That's right. That's right.
If it's brown, it's down.
That's right, all of those. I like all of them.
But I'm always looking for a good one. Now, I will
Aim for the spot.
I will also hunt
down, 3
water. If we're talking about water, I will hunt water in winter too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I seem to, for some reason, hunt more water in the winter and have success with it. Now, I'm not telling you I'm going to have more success. I just personally don't hunt water in the early season.
That's not what you're focused on.
It's not, but I want to tell you this right here too, since we're talking about that, because this is something I really learned just the other day as scouting, and this will be helpful to everybody. Right now, early season, it's really hard because they're not laying down a lot of sign. They're not scraping, they're not rubbing. They are leaves down. They are leaves right now on the ground, and twigs and limbs and everything else. As if you really having trouble with that, and I was in this spot just a couple of days ago, and this is one thing that I noticed, and it just hit me all at once just the other day. We literally went down to where there was water, a creek. Well, they left their hoof prints there. They don't leave them on the side of a mountain where there's rock. You can't see a hoof print really,
Right.
Not unless you just want to crawl on that thing all day. That's up to you. But what we did is we went down to where the closest water was, and believe it or not, that's where we found the best trails. And the reason why is where they're crossing water left the best sign due to it was real moist and they was leaving prints.
Could you then like reverse engineer where they were coming from?
You had to go about it the other way.
And
that's a huge tip, though. Remember that, because that helped me to set a camera up. Just the other day, I just set this camera up, just using this method. I'm telling you right now, and it works.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it works because we didn't know where they was, we knew they would be up in there just because it was ideal due to the features, and we looked at the topo map. But it was like, where are they using it at? So boom, I was like, let's shoot off here, back to the creek. And when we did, you could see where they was crossing to coming up. Well, once we found it, boom, we just hit their trail, and then it was more defined to us to start putting the puzzle together.
Yeah, makes sense.
So go back to where you can see tracks, and where's that at?
Bare dirt.
Stream. Yeah, bare dirt, water, stream, yeah.
That's funny because we located 2-3 shooters same way.
Sometimes you have to do that because you can't just be up in the mountain and go, hey, it's walking by right here. Well, you can't really tell nothing's walking there. Yeah. You ain't got leaves that deep yet where they've made a trail through because it's middle of the season. You're like right now you're like, are they using this? And some people find them bare dirt spots and that's cool, but
I was talking about like bare dirt, like a road bed.
Yeah.
Road bed.
Or just some trails that everybody call, the cattle trails. Man,
Dude, we found one of those the other day.
Well, we wasn't finding them in this spot where we knew where we was at. There had to be something, and that's why we had to work it the other way. Now, once we came up out of that, we started finding the bare dirt trails.
Yeah.
But now we was walking all up there, we couldn't find them. We was just missing them, not seeing it. Nothing was standing out to us. But once we came up out of that creek, then or stream, we'll walk right up on them.
Dude, I found one the other day that in this place that I hunt, and I've hunted all over the place. And I was walking down this road, I wanted to cut up a way that I haven't never been before. Mm-hmm. And in the off season, that's one thing I like to do is I like to cut like you. I approach from a certain way, thinking they're going to be in a certain place, and I want to spook them. Right, I approach from a long way most of the time. I cut up to there, found a couple of huge Ys. One Y, then 50 yards down the trail, another big Y. Mm-hmm. Bare dirt. Set a camera up.
Different spots. So right now, if anybody's wondering, they always ask me, you lost setting them on the bed, and I will, when I was determining buck bedding, I would do that to build my confidence up. I would literally set it in the bed. Not a really good idea because they will start detecting it after a while.
Yeah.
I know that's crazy. I don't know why I'm not a deer. I'm just telling you, just looking at the camera. But right now, I set them on trails. So same thing. You just said, I saw these trails and I set a camera on it. I'm doing the same thing. Yeah. Where I think's a good spot at. And of course, you're not going to set one where you don't think it's a good spot.
Yeah, me and Lee were talking the other day. It didn't really matter, and we heard this on the podcast. We don't really matter what deer it is. Like, I'm not concerned that it's this deer. I'm concerned that it's 3.5, 4.5 years old.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you're in the mountains on public land, you know nothing other than signing. If you ain't getting that right now, they ain't laying it down. Right. You have to start somewhere. Now, you can go in there and put that camera. That's going to give you a little intel. You can go set that tree and then see where that buck's using. I got 2 cameras 60 yards apart right now.
They get different deer.
Yeah, no, never get the same deer.
Yeah.
60 yards apart.
Yeah.
I get one we're just about bucks every time. I get one that's does every time. I've never had these bucks on this camera. This is on a transition. Just stick it to big wood. Not even a hardwood. Just short to taller.
Yeah.
I call pines. Short pines
Canopies.
to more mature pines.
Yeah.
The transition. And this is kind of the same way, but it's more like hardwood to short stuff transition. And this one holds bucks, or I don't know why. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. They just tend to want to work on the side.
Yeah.
And this sucker don't.
Well, I think a lot of people have been
60
figuring
yards.
that out. That
60 yards.
What's in
That
between?
is insane. You think
Yeah,
the
what's
buck
between
just
them?
walks around in the woods?
What's
You
in
know?
between them?
Just a cedar thicket.
so it's just
Cedar
both
thicket
sides
and
of the
hardwood.
cedar thicket.
And they never make it over there. I don't know if they got a particular spot where they're hitting acorns or something's dropping better somewhere else. There's no water there. I do know this. It gets a little bit thicker, that area where they're working to, but where they're working on mine, they're coming in and out of the thick. It's just the bucks seem to come down this side, and you never have buck on this side, on this camera, and they are 60 yards apart. So that tells you just because you got a camera out.
In the
Now, I
area.
could sit in that tree and still see them bucks, but they would never have came in front of my camera. I would have never known they was there.
Right. Yeah. Oh.
That is true. And I run them cameras just like that because I'm trying to get all the intel. What that buck's
You
doing.
run them in the season?
I run them 14 months without pulling. I run 14 months on camera without pulling it. So the whole season. 14 months is what I get on my batteries. So 14 months I run cell.
Just going in there. Oh, you got cell cameras?
Cell cameras. These are all on public, and I run 1, 2, 3 regular check cameras. And one is in a bed right now. One is actually in his bed right this second. One of them cameras. And I know it should be a cell cam, but it's not.
So those
I'll actually have to go in it.
So that bed still is used?
No, it's not used no more. That bed is not used. It has been year after year, and I got pictures to prove it. And you would never see a small buck there. Never had a small buck up there in that particular spot. And there's a little 6-pointer and a little 4-pointer right now. And I would have had 11 pointers, and just when I say in this, or just older deer. I don't care what points they have.
Right,
They can be
right.
a 6-pointer, 2.5
Right.
year old.
Yep.
But this deer's only 2.5 year old. I'm just telling you.
Say wait.
It held
Hold
bigger
on.
deer.
Say that again.
You could have a little bitty
No. How old was that deer?
2.5.
The biggest deer killed in that WMA was 2.5 years
year
old.
Yeah, I could imagine him 3.5.
Do we have a bear out there too on that camera?
Yes. Yeah, I've had multiple bears on the camera.
Yeah. I was thinking
But
it's
2.5
crazy
year old.
that 2.5.
Got checked by 3 biologists. And I still have the jawbones today.
Yeah.
On a rope, I keep them.
Yeah.
But definitely 2.5 year old done it. Now, that's just recorded. They are guys. You got a lot of guys that kill big ones that just don't care nothing about no books. I mean, you do have them guys. This one just happened to go in there. I have shot bigger personally myself.
Mm-hmm.
I believe 20 inches bigger. Definitely not 150. And another thing, is that thing pointed right at me?
It's pointed right at you. Right. I'm putting
This
it right
is
here.
very important too. Out of all the cameras I run everywhere, I do not have no 150s and never have had a 150 on camera. So if you're seeing them on public land, you are lucky. And I have got them spread for miles and miles, and I have never, not even in the dark, had a 150. Biggest thing I've ever had on camera, maybe 130, 140 tops, and that's pushing it because, like we saying, I thought he was 130, and he was just right at 120. Didn't even hit 120. He was a couple eighths off. So I've never had a 150, and I run cameras, like I said, 14 months at a time.
Yeah.
And I've never had.
It's crazy because if you take that deer and just the ratio, the size of the horns to the body, and put that on a 2.5 year old Midwest deer, and it's going to score 150.
100%.
You know, like this is what we have. We have a little bitty deer, weigh 100
Virginia
pounds.
strand.
Yeah, Virginia strand.
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
100-pound deer.
Oh yeah, it's a
What'd
dog.
you say?
German
What'd you
shepherds.
say? But sure deer. Would you say was 130? 150?
They are out there, and we got the stuff to grow
Right.
big ones.
Which one?
And there's people killing 150s. There's people that kill 150s. I mean, I know a couple of people that's killing bigger than 150 in North Georgia. But
it's tricky.
Yeah, like I said, I run a bunch of cameras everywhere, and I promise you, I've never had a 150.
Yeah.
And I got cameras right now. I'm not even a nighttime picture. I've never seen it
They
with
don't
my eyes hunting. I've never seen it cross the road where I'm at.
Yeah, it takes a lot to make a 150-inch deer.
Yeah, they can do it, but it's just he's got to live. It'd be his first thing. He does need to live. I don't believe he can do it here. This particular strain of deer at 2.5-year-old. I really don't believe. Now, could he have grown 150? Yeah. At 2.5, no.
Give him a couple years,
Yeah, at 2.5, it ain't gonna happen,
right.
And it just won't happen. And I don't.
That's just a huge deer for around here. If you see a deer like that on a trail camera, if you pull a card, you're gonna lose your freaking mind.
Yeah, you need to shoot it for
That's
sure.
like a shooter in every single body's book, unless you got 2,000 acres. Is probably
we're after anything. Me and the guys I hunt with, some of the guys, I got one guy, no, but he'll know whatever. But
says the spot killer.
Yeah, we're looking for. I didn't even kill a buck last year.
Yeah.
Saw.
You were hunting
two
good
good
ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why we left over at the other spot we was talking about when we saw 16 and 3 of them being over. Probably the littlest one 110, 115. But we was hunting a much better deer and saw him. I saw him twice, and with a gun, believe that or not, and not over 100 yards, and still could not pull it off. The closest he got to us, wait, what done? He busted us, and I was getting filmed on that hunt. Well, we was going to film on that hunt, but we never seen him come in, and he busted us. He came in where we came in, and he would have been a shooter deer for us. But anything over 100, we'll shoot. And then next week, in 2 weeks from now, you'll see me something with 90 inches. But anyway, that's what we're trying to do is just get confidence built up and kill it.
Dude, I'm a serial 6-point killer.
Yeah, that's fine. Man. That is fine. Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. If you are happy, you need to shoot it.
Yeah, so situational too. Like there's.
And a lot of it plays into where you're.
Well, we're overpopulated with deer, which driving down their body weight. So truthfully, from a scientific perspective, every single deer needs to be shot because the population of deer density is so high there, and it's causing, all kinds of problems where you'll have, like I was talking about earlier, have a 4 or 5-year-old deer that's mutated, like genetically, weigh 90 pounds at 5 years old, look like a beautiful deer, but he's miniaturized, like dwarfed.
I don't want to say no names, but I got a deer here brought from a piece of public land around this area, and it was 5.5-year-old and aged, and it scored maybe 90. Yeah. So.
What do you do with that 5-year-old dude?
Yeah, he has nothing.
90 inches.
Going for him. Yeah, tops. Hey, that's if he made 90.
Yeah.
That's if he made 90.
I'm
I
shooting
think it was a 7-pointer.
Was big body deer?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I believe the deer I bet he didn't field dress over. I bet he didn't field dress over 100 pounds.
Look at the berry kill sheet where the biologist is turning in all the data.
So just because you're shooting a older deer, what I'm just saying is, just because it's older doesn't necessarily mean bigger, because they can be older and not be bigger.
Yeah, especially here.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Just because he's older, and when you're talking about they're fighting for food, you just can't get big.
I wonder how much the terrain has to do with their body weight.
You're not only fighting with other deer, turkey as well. They're scratching around them acorn trees.
Barry's 15,000 acres. 4,000 acres is a campus sitting right in the center where you haven't been able to shoot a deer for 200 years. Yep. And so every one of those deer are inbred with each other, where they can't disperse, they can't have fawn dispersal like they would in normal situations. And so that fawn dispersal hangs out so tight that they're interbreeding too tight with their own family.
Having so many around.
Yeah, and just the lack of pressure. And that's why when you go out there, you go out to Berry in the evenings, and you could see 600 deer. You know, just every field be full of 100 deer. Well, that's causing all types of
Genetic
genetic issues
Yep.
as far as size and dwarfism and disease. And
Another thing I want to bring up is, are you still rolling?
Yeah.
Is how many deer I see? I get that question. How many deer you see? This is hunting. How many deer? Hunting in the stand, shootable deer. 100 and that I could have shot 100, probably 130 deer.
in a season,
Yeah, in a season. I'm gonna actually, and I've been talking to a couple of buds. I'm gonna keep a book, and I'm gonna write down because I want to see. We're gonna go see in the stand, not your drive-in, not your walk-in. In the stand hunting, I want to know how many I could have killed, or in shooting range that I could kill, and then how many I'm seeing hunting. And I know over 100 that I see that is killable. But not much more, because where I hunt, I'm going to say this number too, because I don't want you to be like, what are you talking about? But probably like 170, 175 in the stand. Now, that's only like, 40 more deer? And the reason why is because it's so thick, it's hard for me to see far. Mm-hmm. So them are just 40-something deer that's a little bit out of my range that I couldn't kill. Now, are they more beyond that? I'm sure. I just can't see it.
Right.
So 170 total in the stand, let's say that. And then definitely 130 that I could kill in the stand a year. And I hunt all season long, but probably miss no more than 17 days. And I want to say that just a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's probably all I miss.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hunting. That's a lot of hunting.
Yeah. Yeah. I was.
Now, do you feel like when you're seeing a lot of deer that's there's a relationship with that and your odds on seeing a big deer, or have you felt like
where I'm seeing the most amount of deer, they ain't shooters, and not even a shooter even.
So when you're hunting a shooter, are you seeing mainly just that deer?
Yep. I'm not seeing deer numbers.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. So
Yep, that's
I had
correct.
a lot of sets where I would know going in, I'm probably going to see
You
20,
lucky if
20,
you see
20.
a doe where I'm hunting these bucks at.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you are lucky if you see a doe. Now,
When you
that's
was a
not, I
kid-
don't know about
when you was
everybody
a-
else. That's
when you was
mine.
a kid,
My problem.
you know, when I was a kid, 20 years old, I wanted to go where I was going to see the most deer because I thought that's where I had the best chance.
Yeah. He don't
best chance of
necessarily
killing a
hang
big
out
buck.
with a whole bunch of deer. That ain't how it works. That's
He don't
correct.
want to be with them. I don't believe.
Yeah, where I'm seeing the most deer numbers at, no, I'm not. Matter of fact, I went back to we'll just use the book buck for instance. I hunted it, I think another day or two after I killed him, never even saw deer. And on camera right here, I think it was him, the 6-pointer, and I think a doe, and she wasn't on there much. No, a matter of fact, I mean, you probably count on one hand out of months of running that camera that you would have saw it though. And it'd be the same one, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I think if somebody was to ask you, go sit in the tree you think you have the best chance of killing a deer, and go sit in the tree that you have the best chance of killing a buck.
It's miles apart.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be the
For
same
me,
tree.
and it's a totally different way of looking.
Yeah.
The land's totally different.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
a whole different scenario.
Totally different.
That is a fact. I never thought to tell somebody that.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, it don't even look the same where I'm sitting.
rabbits and squirrels. Like
Yeah.
yes, like we're probably gonna go try to set up some cool footage with the Osmo behind my mom's house because it butts up to a wildlife refuge.
And we can
You know,
bait them.
We can bait them, and so it's gonna be easy to draw does in,
Yeah,
and
totally
it's just any deer, but completely different than if we're out trying to.
Yeah, where I would have hunt him, I don't believe anybody would have sat. I'm not
does it.
saying that, it just is not the ideal spot to sat. It was really not. It's
Steep?
nasty. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So are you
can
hunting like
fall.
a bluff where it's like a pinch point where the
There's a bluff right in front of me. Like you would never walk down it. Not only that, I couldn't even get the deer up it. Not even a drag up where he ran off. No, you would never.
Right.
There's not even like a sidewall trail. What we call them the steep spots.
Yeah.
Spots. I know they're out there because I've seen them trails. But
That's what I was about to ask.
there's not even a trail there. No, they would never
So-
walk on that
so-
stone like there. It's not
yeah.
a spot to walk.
Yeah.
Then there's an easier way to get down there. There's a way easier way, and that would be just go back around and come back down. If you
So was he J hooking into his bed?
Oh, 100%. He's going all the way around it. Well, the buck, The thing about a buck, and this is just stuff I've learned, so this is facts, and what we're going to say scientific facts, is a buck never has a way he leaves his bed. He can leave his bed anyway, but he only enters his bed one way, and that's downwind to make sure another buck will be in his bed and it's safe to go in it. He only enters it one way. Only one way. He'll never enter it another way, only the one way. But he will exit that buck or that bed any way he wants to. And there's no direct reason why he does that. He just wherever he wants to go, but he only enters the bed one way. Now he's got what we call escape routes, and he knows where he's going to go.
Right.
And typically it's another bed somewhere else.
Right.
And that's where he'll go to. Well, he's back to bulletproof again. And not saying it's a better bed than where he's at, but if you bumped him here, we always say, oh, he's in the next country. Well, what he done? He probably went to another bed.
And it might not be that far.
Typically, most time it ain't.
Yeah.
If you want to watch collared deer or any other stuff that they're showing on here, guys that are hunting them, I mean, they're a lot of times they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. So yeah, that's another
Dude,
good thing.
Lee's got some gems, man.
So is he coming in his bed a certain way? 100%. Yeah. And on another thing, and this is going to prove him more right to me in my particular setup, is I never had this buck coming into his bed. I only had him entering it. Now, if you was to ask me which way he was going in it, I got a pretty good idea. Am I 100% sure? No, because there's a couple of ways over there he could have entered into.
You didn't even go over there.
But I did earlier, but not in the time when it was time to get for real. But I never had him coming back to the bed, ever.
So every time you had him on camera, he was leaving the bed and going the same way.
His butt was from where he was coming from on this camera.
Yeah.
So you didn't have the bed on the camera? I mean, the camera on the bed?
I did not.
How far?
And I'm saying do not put them in beds.
How far was your camera?
45 yards. And that's where I set at.
So you
I say 45, no more than 60.
Uh-huh.
And I've been there. I just went in there not long ago and put another camera up. The one I'm telling you where the small 6 and the small 4 is right now. That I would have never had. I've never had a small buck on this camera in this spot. Not telling you they can't.
Right.
I'm just telling you I haven't in multiple years. 3, even before him. So 2 to 3 years.
Right.
I've never had nothing small there. And then we was just talking, I've only had a doe that you can count on one hand.
Yeah.
And then there's small deer in there now. So I know why. I don't want to get into why I believe it's like that, because it would kind of give the spot up a little bit. I mean, you talked a little bit on it, Lee. But
yeah, you gotta keep your stuff. You
gotta
keep some stuff on.
I'm where
everybody
can go. I have many neighbors.
Everybody can go.
I have many neighbors.
So this is cool because Lee has killed a public land deer that's a shooter in anybody's book with 5 people in sight. I killed one with my bow last year that most people would have shot with a bow on that WMA. I had 4 people within a quarter mile.
Yep.
Are you in the same situation? Are you?
I've been on public land hunting for me, and I've done it quite some time. I'll probably walking out. I've seen people, but far as I believe being the closest to me where I've seen somebody, twice.
Yeah.
That's not bad, is it, guys?
I only did it once.
I've only had a guy twice.
Bow season, I had a guy, and I think I rattled him in.
I've seen one in bow season, and one with a gun. One time that was.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was on to me. I'm sure he was doing his own thing, because I don't know him, or I did ever heard about him. But I did see him. Now he did walk right by me. He had a light, and I popped my light on him. He was right here behind me. And one time in bow, but other than that, no. I'm seeing nobody. So I'm gonna say nobody.
Cool.
Nobody, which is good. That's what I want. Because if I'm going after somebody, I don't really need somebody hindering it.
Yeah. During bow, the gates are locked. If we were to see somebody where we...
My gates ain't locked where I'm at, and I was telling you that. Y'all's ain't open yet?
For bow, gates are locked, so that's why we're walking a mile and a half, 2 miles into our spot, because the gates are locked. During the quota hunts, the gates are open.
But not your bow season.
Not through bow season. So like where I killed that 9-pointer, I was parked 200 yards from my tree. But during bow season, it's a mile and a half walk.
Right.
And so for bow season, it's no pressure. Well, during the rifle hunt, it was opening morning of the rifle hunt. I know there's going to be pressure in there. I go in there and park and set up, and sure enough, I've got people coming in all on me from everywhere. Bow hunting.
Another thing I want to point out is just because I got this one on a year-round scrape where the balloon is, I'm definitely not saying find a year-round scrape and a balloon in the bed. I am saying though, if you are far away out and you pretty good, and again looking for people sign, making sure no one's in there, and Lee's real good at it because I've been talking to Lee. Y'all definitely want to check out Brandon's channel for sure, or you're going to. It's going to be on his channel. But anyway, if y'all are just clicking on my link or whatever, definitely want to check him out. Lee even mentioned it. Water bottles, dip cans, boot prints,
Doe pecans.
Lee, you got anything else? You named a bunch of good
Those little scent wigs, eye tags.
Ribbons.
Eye
You
tags.
said ribbons.
Eye tags are huge.
Yeah,
I actually take them
Yeah,
down.
reflectives.
I'll take them down.
If you're the only
pull
one
them out.
going in there, and you was to, because I get the balloon message a lot, whether it be joking, and sometimes not. A lot of guys have looked into stuff like that and Googled it. Oh, hey man, tell me about the balloon. But whatever. If you're going in far enough and you know nobody's in there, investigate.
Yeah.
Because what's happening if it's landing balloon? I've seen multiple balloons before in a spot. I'm not telling you they was tied to, now, I mean, they wouldn't tie together, but I'm not telling you they was at one time. I don't know. But I've seen multiple balloons, or a balloon here, and where they all end up in this area.
Yeah.
And I've seen them 30 yards apart from each other. Yeah, investigate. It's worth it because it
Dude,
can land you something. It landed me something.
It's crazy. If you find, what I found is if you find where you find the last human stuff at. So one of my honey holes where me and you went, and I spent a lot of my time there. I love it. Those eyes I found in the gun hunt, and they went down to a certain point. I found the last one, found where they were sitting in the gun hunt. The deer, quarter mile past that, act like deer. They call you. They respond to calls. They rut. They roar. They snort wheeze. They scrape. They rub. They do what they're supposed to do.
You was more in a safe spot.
Right.
Where they do.
But once you get back there, they act different.
Hey,
Yes.
I was raised on a 160-acre cattle farm. I hunted it from the age of 7 until I was 20 years old. Went off to college. My parents divorced while I was going to college, and we lost the ability to hunt the farm or whatever. But anyways, I hunted it my whole life. I rattled, I grunted my whole life as a kid. Not until I was 2 miles deep on Berry, behind my mom's place where she had bought a new place, did I rattle up my first deer. I rattled up a big giant 8-pointer second week of bow season.
Tickling horns.
Third, I was aggressive with the horns.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, very. But it was second or third trip. I mean, imagine this now.
He's doing something that somebody else wouldn't do. Ain't nobody going in there doing that in early season.
I've been bow hunting 20 years and not rattled, and been trying to rattle up and grunt deer in, but I'm hunting private land that's getting a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And that's something, I guarantee you people don't realize is this closed gate access bow hunting that is 2 miles deep is less pressure than most of the private land that's getting hunted.
They're wild deer.
So you're basically saying you can turn private into public real
Well,
quick.
think about that, 25 years of rattling horns. My first successful
Was on public.
was on public 2 miles deep.
Did I snort going?
Second trip, back there, and it was a 35-degree morning, second week of bow season.
The only deer I've ever snorted wheezing in was on public land, and it was here.
But
Snort wheezing in the rut, but it
and
worked.
since then, over the last 7, 8, 9 years, maybe 10 years now, I've been consistently rattling in deer and grunting in deer, but it's got to be in these non-human traffic areas.
It's got to be where a deer is safe and thinks you're a deer.
Not running into, I mean,
Yeah.
they're,
If he's running in there, he ain't going to act
everywhere,
differently. He's going to be more aware. I agree.
If you're in there, like for the hunts, there's 2 rifle hunts where we're hunting out on Berry, and so 10 days out of the year, out of 365 days, 355 days, they're not running into people.
Right.
Once you get off in the middle of the campus, or not the campus, but the middle of the WMA, where you've got closed gate access, except for the hunt, those deer are, even though they're getting hunted 2 weeks out of the year, they're still acting like wild deer, responding to horns, responding to grunt calls.
I like early season better than anything.
Dude, yeah.
If you're
It's
hunting
just
on
their
your buddy's right now, I live on a 70-acre previous horse farm. You can't you go back here on the edge of one of those fields and rattle up a deer. I'll kiss your ass. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do
He
it.
ain't fighting today.
He ain't coming up on the edge of some hayfield
Yeah.
to see what's fighting on it.
Right.
You know, 20 minutes before dark.
Believe it.
And you know, we you know, I've been routing a few deer up here over the past little bit in public land and stuff. But I think one of the tricks to it is getting. I think you got to get so dang close to them they can't help but look. If you get if you're so close to them that they cannot believe that there's a human that's got that close to them, they believe in their head that's got to be a deer.
It matters what's in between you. So
Yeah.
if you got 200 yards of open canopy timber
Right.
that they've got to cross to investigate, they're
That's a
not going
no-no.
to do it.
No.
But if it's 200 yards of briar thicket
Or
that they
cedar
can creep
thicket.
through, or whatever thicket, that then they're going to go a lot further to investigate what they might have heard.
But it's still the edge. I think the edge of those thickets is where I like to route. I like to get the.
Well,
I mean,
the
as
edges
close,
is where they're going to work. It's
It's-
easier,
yeah.
more ideal for them.
as
That's
close
why
as I can get to that. And again, like what I was kind of telling Matt earlier, is I like to be so close to that thick that I'm behind their ears when they look. When they come out of that thicket and their head and body, they'll go about a body's length, maybe 2 bodies lengths straight out of the thicket, and then they'll stop, if that far. They might check up inside of it.
Right.
Most of the time, they come out a
if
little
they
bit.
commit,
Yeah,
check
and
again.
then they check right there and they stop and they look. And I had one doe that I hunted one time. This was on private. There's a group of 5 or 6 of them, and she picked me off 6 times in a row. Different trees. I was in a climber. Different trees, different areas on the trail. She picked me off 6 times in a row. Finally killed her when I got my stuff and went one tree inside the thicket, 5 yards. There was pine trees. There was a tree big enough to climb. 5 yards in the thicket, and they came out 20 yards beside me, and she came out and was looking down the holler, and I got a broadside shot on her.
Right.
She was old. I mean, she was a big doe, but
Right.
that was a long time ago. But still, that's a trick I like to use.
When I rattled up that big 8-pointer, I was so excited. You know, imagine, been rattling all my life, never rattled up a deer. You know, within 5 minutes of aggressive rattling, big 8-pointer comes out. I'm in a double split white oak with not a lot of vegetation around, pretty much open canopy, flat timber. And as soon as that deer come out at about 35 yards, I was shocked. You know,
Right.
holy shit. You know,
Yeah.
I can't believe it worked. Holy shit. While I'm sitting there, well, the deer's just kind of hung up in a little bit of thick area, but I could see him good. Well, I hit my grunt call. You know, just thinking, oh yeah, I did it now. As soon as he looked over there to my tree and seen that there wasn't no deer standing under, he just turned around and walked right back
Yeah.
off. And, you know,
He
just
was
another
tired of looking that
valuable
way.
lesson.
Yeah.
He should have saw it by then.
Yeah.
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 Well, we are about an hour and 20 minutes into something y'all said that we would be able to shoot on a 35-minute video. So, I think any closing words?
Just if you want to find them, get out there. Quit looking at just you can look at the maps. Don't always go off of what I don't want to say go off of what people are saying, because that's always helpful. But like, get boots on the ground. Look at the area yourself.
Work your tail off, and the success you have is going to feel that much better. You know, if you go kill one off the side of the road,
And do what works for you.
Yeah.
Just because, there's a lot of other people that don't hunt my style, and I ain't got no particular way of doing it. I'm trying to keep it simple, you know. And some people put a little more, and I try to put some into it. But there's, whatever's working for you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't do too much, but whatever works for you best, stick with it. And if it's working, keep doing it. That's the only
don't
thing I know.
have unrealistic expectations.
God, I love that.
Don't
man.
just pull up and sit in a tree and go, here's gonna come a deer, because it probably ain't gonna work.
Well, we're hunting the North Georgia mountains, where if you're able to kill a 100-inch 3-year-old deer, you're doing something. You know,
It did.
you know, absolutely. Don't judge yourself by these Indiana Midwest guys that believe me, if the 3 of us took out to Indiana for a
It would
month,
happen.
we would all shoot big deer. You know?
Yeah.
It would happen.
Or
Or we would see one.
Yeah.
If we didn't miss.
yeah,
We get on
yeah,
one.
there you
Yeah,
go.
you gotta kill them.
Yeah.
So anyway,
All right. Anything else? Everybody go with it?
Now we'll shoot another one when one of us get on with it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have some more interviews through the summer. Let me scroll over here and get Casey. What's up, Casey?
Hey.
This is gonna be your like your debut on my channel.
Alright.
Dude, she's so mad. All right, well, let's see. Flip it around. It's the outro. I kind of like the format. Turn on. All right, there you go. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace. Peace.